Welcome in.
Good music.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Actually, that I actually have gotten to the point where I create my own music and do a pretty good job with it.
Mhm.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another night of cruising the cruise line show from the Cantrelle Country Travelway. Let's welcome in our guests. Let's first welcome in Tinkerbell, who we know has come in several times. She has a great travel channel. Make sure you guys that are watching that are maybe new, please check out Traveling with Tinkerbell. She is good channel, and she's also a good travel agent with Expedia. So, and right now I know all my mods are helping out Pete, so we're a little short on the blue wrenches at the moment. But John was in here. John, did you come in through Tinkerbell's channel? Because I sure as in the heck can't see you.
Yeah, I don't see him on my side.
I saw him. He's on the chat and on the
I
comments.
see him there.
I see him there, but I can't.
I don't see him on mine.
John's a ghost, I guess. I don't know.
Incognito.
I have no idea.
Wow, really? Oh well, I'll have to. I meant to go back and punch him because I know he's a mod for one of my other channels. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Oh, he was watching my Puerto Rico trip.
That's why he's on your. That's why he's coming to. There's why I can't put a wrench on you, John. You're on the wrong channel. But that's okay. I'm glad you're coming through Tinkerbell's channel too. But anyway, let's welcome in. Obviously, y'all know Mike. He's just hello, Mike. He's the one that needs the intervention. We all know that. And then our good friend Jen, known as Monorail Molly.
Hello.
Right, guys, our topic, as everybody comes in, for all those that are watching, if you're a first-time cruiser, tonight we are going to let you guys anybody can ask questions, but I particularly highly encourage for those that want to go on a cruise, or maybe you've got a cruise booked and it's your first time to ask questions tonight. And that's why Molly's here, because she's actually our good friend Jen's going to be going on her first cruise. When are you going, Jen?
In July.
In July.
Nice.
So he got her booked. So
It's a ticking.
That's wonderful.
okay.
Hey, Mike, they're asking what is your favorite candy?
It's right here. Red Twizzlers. I love red.
You don't know the right one. Right here. Here's a good one.
Ugh. No, thank you. No, thank you.
We'll get you straightened out one of these days, Mike.
Good luck.
Trust
with
me.
that.
Anyway, okay. So you know what? I'm going to open it up to the chat, and or Molly. I know Debbie's going to pop in, and hopefully Debbie will pop in, providing the game, depending on what time the game gets over with. Debbie may join us on screen because I know she's been wanting to take cruises. So, okay, I'm going to open it to Molly. I know she said she's had some questions. I'm going to let her fire away.
Okay. So
questions.
The first question I have is, one of the reasons we've never been on a cruise is because my family is worried that they're going to get sick. So what advice can you give to a family who's nervous that they might get sick?
Well, the advice for one, if you're a new cruiser and your family, or because you've never been, I would suggest midship. Always stay in the middle of the ships. Get cabins that are midship and more centralized. So if you have a cruise that has, let's say, 20 floors, then I would suggest deck 10, deck 9, possibly 8, and then midship of the floor, because you're more in the middle. It's more stabilized, so you'll still feel the ship, but you're not going to feel it as much as you're in the forward of the ship and then the back of the ship. So you're more in the midship stabilized. I've have a lot of customers that are new to cruising, and that's one of the first questions they ask, am I going to get sick? But just keep in mind that on these ships, they all have medical facilities. So if you get sick, they can give you a patch. They have medication. I always suggest to bring Dramamine non-drowsy with you.
Okay.
And usually I will suggest to take it like a couple of hours before the ship leaves so it can be in your body, because you don't know whether you're going to get seasick or not.
Mhm.
But if you're going, let's say, to the Bahamas, then I wouldn't even suggest to take it, because it's very slow. Like, it goes very slow because it's not too far. Mainly, like, you would take something like that if you're going like to San Juan or Aruba, which is on the other side of the other side of the world, and it's a further trek. And you really don't know how the ocean is going to be, whether it's going to be raining, choppy, or if it's going to be kind of like nice.
Mhm.
But I always suggest to take patches or the Dramamine non-drowsy for that. And always try to do midship. You know, I don't know if you're working with an agent, but if you're not, just always make sure, if you're going to do it on your own, research the midship cabins. They do have interiors and ocean view balconies. On the higher floors, if you go higher than fourth, there are some ships like Royal Caribbean that they do have ocean view balconies, but those are going to be on the forward of the ship at the top. But if you want something lower, then it'll be like on the third floor. I've actually done third floor, and I've never had a problem with sick, but I've never been sick. But third floor is really nice when you're getting on and off the ships as well.
Okay, so this cruise was booked for me. It's a gift.
Mhm.
So I know we are midship, but we are on the third deck.
You'll be
So-
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine, because remember, you have to look at the ship. What kind of ship are you talking about? What is the ship name?
It's a Royal Caribbean Vision of the Seas,
The Vision of the Seas,
which I think is
hold
one of their smaller ships from what I
Right.
have researched.
Hold on. Royal Caribbean has that ship. Let me see. Hold on, because I don't know how much. That ship has
Tamara's
12
got a good
floors.
question too.
So you're looking, that ship has 12 floors and you're on deck 3. So you're like on the bottom of the ship, but you still will be okay, because if you're mid, then you won't feel it as much. Are you going to the Bahamas?
Bermuda.
Bermuda. Okay, so you're going up. Yeah, you wouldn't have a problem, unless, like I said, if the seas were a little choppy, you're probably going to feel it a little bit, but not as intense as like the forward or the back. But you do feel it on the smaller ships. You'll tend to feel it more than on the bigger ships that they have now.
Okay.
I wouldn't know the answer to this one. I mean, for me, my opinion on this one, taking a look at Samara's question, would you let
Do you suggest picking your own room or letting the cruise pick it? I will always suggest to pick your own room. Ooh, where did he go? I will always suggest to pick your own room, unless you're okay with doing guarantee. And the only reason why I say that is because a guarantee cabin, the ship gets to pick your cabin. And just keep in mind, if you follow the news of the cruise world, sometimes, depending on the cruise company, they have overly sold the guarantee cabins. And sometimes you'll get a letter saying, we oversold it. We don't have any more cabins available. We can give you a 100% refund back, or a next cruise, whatever. So I always tell my customers, if you can pay a little bit more, then I'd rather put you on a specific cabin that you know for sure you're going to be on. But if you're a cruiser that you really don't want to, it doesn't matter where they put you, then I will definitely go guarantee, because you save a little bit of more money.
Right. I mean, let me ask you this, and this is coming from a TA to you, Tinkerbell. When you talk to your clients, would you recommend that they do the research on what type of rooms before they actually decide? Or let the cruise decide?
I do, because it's always good for the client to know exactly what they're getting. And it's easier for them, it's one thing is, if you're a travel agent that travels a lot and you know these ships in and out, and you know the kind of cabins, I can pretty much tell Molly, hey, your cabin is going to be looking like this, and this is what it's going to have. But if you don't travel a whole lot, or you don't go on, let's say, on the Vision of the Sea, because I've never been on Vision before, it's very hard for me to tell Molly, as my customer, where your cabin is going to be this located and your cabin is going to be yay big. but she wouldn't know because it's her first cruise. So she's going by what I'm telling her. So I'd rather that she look, because they have all sorts of YouTube out there. You can see the cabin in and out. You can kind of see the specs that it have and kind of gauge it. But I always tell everybody, especially the moms and the families that are traveling with kids, because you have a lot of people that want to put a whole bunch of people in one cabin. Just keep in mind, these cabins are not big enough unless you get the extended, cabins and things like that, which you're paying a little bit of more money. You only have one bathroom for everybody. So going to main dining room, it makes it a little bit difficult unless you have like a time frame where you're going to tell some of your kids, well, you got to take a shower at this time, be ready, and then get everybody ready to go at the same time for dinner. So you got to keep a lot of different things in mind when cruising, so that you can enjoy, your vacation, because you don't want to be stressed out on your own vacation because, you're worried about everything going on.
That's good advice.
Nice. I mean, welcome in, Margot Anchorage.
Hello,
Watching
Margot.
through Facebook.
Well, welcome in.
Okay. And that's for me, because I mean, like I said, I actually know which one I myself am going to. I know it'll only be my second cruise, but me, I love the view of the water. Again, when you spend 30 years as a lifeguard, 7.5 years in the Navy, I want the view of the ocean, people. I'm getting me a veranda.
That's right.
Anyways, welcome in, Jill. So what's your next question now, Molly?
My next question is, what is something that I should pack that's not obvious? Something like, is there anything that you would pack for a cruise that you wouldn't normally pack for a regular vacation?
That's a good question. When I be honest with Molly, when I started cruising, I used to bring almost a half of the house. Because when you're going on a cruise, you don't really, you just think, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to use all of this stuff because, you have your during the day, your swimsuits and your formals at night or however which way, and you thinking about, oh my God, I got to bring all of this. And then when you get there, half of the stuff that you bring, you don't even use at all, because it's like, it's when you're cruising, and for those of you that have cruised probably on the chat, they're probably going to agree with me. It's a different world. You really are, it's no different. It's very different than living here in land. You just get more relaxed, and you just become like, you just become so relaxed and so enjoying that you really don't care what you're wearing at that time. So, but one of the things that a lot of people tend to bring, and they shouldn't, is an iron. Do not bring an iron into the cruise. They actually do have sections in some of these cruises, and I think Vision does have a laundrette, and you're able to have, iron your stuff there. But I really don't know something crazy like that you wouldn't normally bring on a cruise. Like I've seen people bring, like you could bring your hair straightener. You could bring that on a cruise. And weirdly so, I've seen people that use their hair straightener to iron their own clothes. It never crossed my mind, but they take it to iron, their clothes. So if that works, but I've never seen, like, to think about something out there that it's kind of like, I wouldn't even know what to even tell you on that.
Would you suggest bringing a power strip? I had read that maybe that was a good idea if you had like phones that you need to charge and things like that, especially on this ship. It's older, so it doesn't have all the fancy outlets on it.
Well, they're no longer they're no longer wanting you to bring a power strip, but I do have, if you can guys give me a second, let me go get what I have so that I can show you and you can see what I bring. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome in. And I figured out why I couldn't see John. I had it on Tinkerbell's channel instead of my own. Hey, John, you might want to check. You might have your blue wrench on this channel now. I don't know why I didn't add the wrench, but yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to, and it's only going to be like you. This is going to only be my second cruise, and this is going to be on the MS. Most likely to be Royal Caribbean.
Nice.
All right, this is what I bring with me. It's a 200 watt. I bought it at Amazon. Yes, it is Tinkerbell green. And it has like all these power strips. So you have the C's, and then you have the USB here, and then it has the little power strip, and you can put you can fit up to 8 devices on this one. And I got it out of Amazon. It's an adapter. I got to probably find the information, but I know it's a GAN 200 watt right there. And that's what I bring with me. And this serves me for like 8 different devices that I want to charge. Never had a problem bringing it on board, but the power strip is no longer they will confiscate if you bring a power strip.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, my opinion is, and anybody, I'll tell you what, and this is coming from a vlog. This is coming from a streamer in the perks too. That's always the biggest problem, not having enough point to have powers to keep things, to charge things. And that would be the same thing on a cruise. That's why I would recommend, I mean, it's kind of like yours, Tinkerbell, but this is a battery pack that lasts up 16 hours. I can charge one wireless. I've got 2 ports where I can put USB ports here, and then I've got 3 bigger USB ports that I can charge, different size ones. So I mean, and I got 2 of these. So
right, they have different types. And I this was very inexpensive in Amazon. I think I paid under $20 for it, I think. And they have all sorts of different colors, and that's usually what I bring. It won't charge my laptop, but if usually on a cruise, I usually bring my personal laptop because I work from a cruise, but it does charge my tablet, which is an Apple tablet, and I just charge it and I can use it anywhere on the ship.
Okay. All right. I will make a note of that because I did hear about the power strip. Now, what about a European adapter?
You don't need that.
No. Okay. Because I read for this ship, they have that you should bring that to give yourself an extra outlet in your room, but you don't suggest that? That you don't think that's
I've never used it, because if you have one of these, you really don't need that one. And I don't know, I would have to check to see if vision has been amplified, because sometimes when they amplify these ships, they actually put new adapters and, they try to update these ships and put new things on it. But I've personally, be honest with you, Molly, I've never used one before. Okay. I do have them, and yeah, it will give you 1 extra adapter. But if you get one of these, you have 8 versus the 1. And then this one is probably going to be cheaper than you getting a European adapter. I do suggest to get them if you're going to fly to like Europe and stuff like that, but not because of the ships. But if you're staying over at a hotel or something, you're probably going to need that adapter. Okay. Yeah,
because the outlets in Europe are definitely different than the outlets in the U.S. And even I agree with that. Welcome in, Cruise Nuts on Tinkerbell's channel. Good to see Cruise Nuts. All right. Anybody else have any questions from the chat, or Molly? What's your?
Well, I have more questions. Excursions. Is it better to book through the ship, or is it better to book through local companies?
I always suggest for a new cruiser to book everything through the ship.
Okay.
Reason being, because you're a new cruiser, you don't really know the in and out of the cruise world yet. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be in a position or put yourself and your family in a position where you book an outside excursion, and then the excursion runs in late and the ship leaves you. Then you have you and your family out there to fend for yourself, because the cruise line will not pay for you to get to the next port or to bring you back home.
And then you'll become a YouTube star known as a pier runner.
Yep. So
I can just see Molly running on a pier on YouTube. That would make it funny for the whole Disney community.
I don't think my family would appreciate that.
So I always do suggest to get it through the cruise line. Okay. Viator does really good. It's really good with that stuff. Expedia Shore Excursions as well. But I always tell everybody, once you are an active cruiser that you know the ins and outs, and you feel comfortable, because remember, you're going to a destination where it's not your home. every the policies and all of that stuff, and it's completely different. So you want to make sure that you and your family are safe at all times, and that you're in a legit excursion where you know that you're going to get back and you're going to be safe. And if something were to happen, you know you're going to be taken care of. And the only reason why I say this is because in 2017, I think it was, I took my family on a Harmony of the Seas cruise to celebrate my son's 15th birthday at the time. And I went to Xcaret in an excursion through Royal Caribbean. And this is when I found out I had a shellfish allergy. I had eaten shellfish in Mexico, and I started breaking out in hives. I couldn't breathe. It was a hot problem. And as soon as I talked to my tour guide that was with me, he had contacted Harmony. So they rushed me back into the, they were waiting for me. They did us, they rushed me back. They left, they sent me with somebody else back to the ship. And they were waiting for me. By the time I got in, onto the ship, medical was waiting on me. And when I realized that, it takes just a little bit more, on an excursion, but it's worth, every single penny, because they will take care of you throughout.
And here's my other thing to this too. And it's not to take away from other countries, but the fact is that the way this world is stabilized, and you got certain parts of the world on the way they think about Americans, because the way this world is so unstable, it's better to be, for me, it would be better to go through the ship and the cruises, just for the sake, pretty much what Tinkerbell said. It's a safety factor.
Right.
Okay.
Now Samara asked this, and here's my opinion on that. For me, and Tinkerbell, I want to see if I can get this one correct. For me, the drink package, for me, it would depend on how long I'm going on a cruise. If I'm only doing a 5-day cruise, there's no way I'm doing a drink package. Now, if I'm going anywhere from 7 to say like 12, then I would think about it. Would that make sense?
That will make sense. I always say the drink package is a per person kind of situation. If you are traveling with a person that heavily drinks, then I will say definitely do it. If you are traveling with a person that, like, say, Molly says, well, you know what? I only drink 1 wine or maybe 2 a day. I will tell Molly, don't even think about it. Don't even buy it, because if you add up a 7-day trip, 2 wines, maybe let's say at $10 each, just to put a number out there, you're probably looking at what, like $140 versus you paying $1,400 for the drink package in Royal Caribbean for 2 people. Because that's how much a drink package costs in Royal Caribbean. It's about $1,400 for 2 people, because it's about $80 per day per person. So unless you're that kind of a person that you're drinking that much, then yeah. I've never had the drink package, because I don't drink. And whenever I had a mocktail, it's maybe 1 a day, possibly, maybe. But that's to the extent. But I always say the drink package is at a per person basis. But keep in mind, if Molly doesn't drink, but her husband does, then Molly still has to get the drink package, because her husband wants the drink package. So you still have to pay for everybody in the cabin.
So it's not, you have to do the same as everybody in your room, is what you're saying.
Right. The little kids, if you're traveling with children under the age of 18 or at the age of 21 and down, they will get the soda package. So everybody in your cabin will get the soda package, and the 2 adults will get the drink package, whether you use it or not. Now, if there has been situations where you can go to guest services and let them know, hey, I don't drink, but they're probably going to ask you for some sort of documentation that you're really not going to drink. And then they can probably do some type of reimbursement or something like that, or you have to buy the drink package on board.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I don't see us really drinking that much at all.
It's expensive. It's expensive to drink at sea.
Yeah. I mean, we're not drinkers on land. I don't think it'd be any different on sea, especially if it's that expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. But because it'll be my husband and I in the room with our 14-year-old. So he obviously is not going to drink but soda.
Yeah.
the
But
whole
if you
combination.
go, like, let's say if you go on your Royal Caribbean app, because you're doing Vision of the Seas, if you go on your Royal Caribbean app and you click drinks, you will see that it automatically adds you and your husband on a drink alcohol, and then your son will be like a soda package.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's different drink packages. You got the sodas, you got the mocktail, there's different packages in Royal. So it's not just like alcohol. So depending on the package you choose, if it's alcohol, then it's everybody. But if it's not alcohol, then you can pick and choose what packages you want for everybody.
Because there's even drink packages that are a little bit lower
So could we just, all three of us in the room, just get like a soda package?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. That's probably all we'll get.
What
about like coffee and things like that? Is coffee available? Or do we have to buy a coffee package? How does that work?
You got to check to see, because there is a package that is soda and coffee. So there is a package that comes with a little bit more than just soda. There's a soda package, and then there's one that comes with a little bit more. So you got to see which one is the one that is more preferable for your family. I do know that in some of these ships, they do have Starbucks on it. Mike will love it.
Starbucks. I bet that Starbucks is always open and there's always a long line because people love
there
Starbucks.
Is.
Right,
yes, there is. And guess what? I went today.
You had to bring that word up. Man.
And speaking of Starbucks.
There's my Pepto-Bismol. I don't get seasick, but I definitely get Starbucks sick.
So I have a question about that, about speaking of the coffee and Starbucks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the U.S., most of us use our lovely apps. Can we use our U.S. Starbucks app on any of the cruise ships? No.
Nope.
Nope. I'll drink you. No, you have to use the ship app, Mike.
You cannot use your Starbucks because they're not linked to the U.S. Yeah.
Yay, victory for me. Shut down the Starbucks.
Oh, stop it.
But I know that NCL does have a Starbucks card that you can buy, and it's $100. I think it's $100 and something, and it's for the wholesaling, and you could drink as much Starbucks as you want for that price.
There you go.
Except for Mike, we're going to charge him $1,000 so that we can get him some intervention and.
Darn.
But you know what? I've been on Utopia and all these bigger ships, and the line on Starbucks is not that bad, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Nice.
It's not that bad.
Yes. And here's the thing, guys. Think about this too. Even this, and Tamara is right. She's saying you can put board credit on your apps, which help. That's pretty much prepaying for a lot of things. Right. So, sometimes you may want to think about that. Again, for me, it would depend. As far as that concerned, it would depend on how much cruising I'm doing. If I'm just doing 3 or 4, I wouldn't think about it. But again, if I'm doing 7 to 14 days, then obviously it's, the drink packages, the onboard credits, everything else I would be thinking about.
Right. And it's like Jill even said it that the line on Starbucks on the icon was rarely, a line. So yeah, you don't have like a big line on. It's weird. It's kind of like strange, but you don't. You would think more people will buy Starbucks on a cruise ship, but no, they don't.
I see the comment by John Surfbomb. He says we always get a case of water put in the cabin before we even get there. So what's that all about? How does that work?
You go online and then you go where it says drinks, and you can purchase water. You can do it by, I think it's like 12, a case of 12 that you can purchase. And once you purchase it online, they will automatically deliver that case to your room. And when you get there, the case of water will be in your room.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a little bit of an expense, to be honest with you. With Carnival Cruise Lines, many years, the case of 12 used to be like $4.50. I think right now they're selling it at about $14 now. So, and in Royal Caribbean, I think the case of the Dasani water is probably like a little bit under $40 for the case. So you just got to look at every ship is different.
Hey,
So
Kevin,
whenever you get a chance,
Venture.
just look at, go online and on their your Royal Caribbean app and go on their drinks and see what the case of water is going to cost for your trip.
Yeah, those are things that you have to think about when you're cruising for the first time. I mean, that's why I always say, especially, how many days are you going, John?
It's a 5-day cruise.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
to me, that's what for your first time cruisers. That's what and Tinkerbell. I think we've talked about it before. That's a good amount of time because there's so much to do. You don't want to get overwhelmed off of your first
Right.
cruise. And it can, because I'm going to tell you, even with that, now we ran into bed here's what my cruise ended up being on that first weekend that I did. When we left, sun shining. Second day, partially rain. Third day, we got to Freeport, rain all day. Sunday, which was our sea day, right before heading back into Jacksonville, because I was on the Carnival Elation, and that's the one that comes out of Mayport. The weather was rocky. I mean, you for the most part, it would stay stabilized, but unfortunately, I'm not going to lie. You do get the ways where you can feel the boat get rocked from time to time, and you'll feel yourself a little bit like this. Unless you have sea legs like me, where everybody else is walking wildly, and I'm just walking in a straight line going, what's the matter with you people? You don't need to join the Navy. It'll teach you to walk straight.
One thing that I can say, Molly, be mentally prepared for day one on embarkation day. That will be your most stressful day that you can possibly think of.
Okay.
And because there's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. You're going into something new, first off. So you're going not only into something new, you got to make sure you have your luggage tags attached to your luggage to make sure that they get delivered to your stateroom. You got to go in through the check-in process at the port. So, you're coming in to the, just picture yourself driving to the port. You're going to drop off all your luggage, park your car, walk yourself into the port, check in, make sure you have all your documentations in hand, whether passport, birth certificates has to be original. Your driver's license cannot be expired. Make sure you have all of your documentations for everybody in your party so it could be easy and seamless for you. They'll take your picture there, and then they'll give you your sell and sign card, or they'll tell you to just use the same app that you have, and then you start going in towards the cruise ship. But then you got to do your, once you're in, you got to prepare for the muster station, which is mandatory. You got to get it all done. And then, make sure that your luggage makes it to your room so that you have clothes to change into the evening. So your first day is going to feel like, oh my God, all this hecticness. But then the next day when you wake up, you feel like you're on vacation and you're enjoying, and you really truly feel like you left Florida behind or wherever you're at, and you're just enjoying your time. And don't overwhelm yourself, because you're probably going to see a lot of gazillion activities. Just choose a couple of activities. And if you don't do them all, it's fine. But at least enjoy your cruise and that cruise life that everybody talks about.
I will tell you this.
Hold on, Dave, I want to follow that up with another question then, Tinkerbell, is you just mentioned documentation and birth certificates. Do we need to bring birth certificates if we have a passport and a driver's license? Or
no,
what?
If you have a passport, then you don't need the birth certificate.
Right.
You only need birth certificate if you don't have a passport and you're a U.S. citizen. Then you will need, if you don't have a passport, then you will need your actual original birth certificate along with an ID. But if you have a passport, you don't need your birth certificate, because your passport is what is going to take you in and out of the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we have passports.
Yeah, if you got passports, then all you would need is your driver's license, your passports.
Exactly.
And you're good. Now, I do want to add something on to Samara said. She said, here's my opinion on the more you can get done before you go to the thing, which means if you can do an online check-in a little bit, it's going to make it a little bit easier for you on embarkation, because he's right. Tinkerbell is correct. It's going to be that is the most stressful day of the, Well,
online check-in has to be done no matter what. A lot of people forget to do it, and it's okay. Don't panic if you don't, because when you get to the port, you can do it on there. But if you do the online check-in, then once you get to the port, it's like a hop, skip, and a jump, because you're just pretty much showing your passport. It's everything, all the information that you put in there. Make sure it's correct and accurate. And once you get to the port, they'll check you in, and you're boom on the way into your cruise, and enjoy. And I always say, make sure you get to your cruise port by noon, no later than 1. And the only reason why I always tell all of my customers this is because you have a lunch and you want to enjoy that lunch, because after a while that lunch gets closed and they prepare for dinner. And if you come in way too late, then you're pretty much, if you're hungry, you come in, let's say at 2, and you're hungry and the buffet is closed, now you got to wait till dinner, because now the ship needs to leave, and all sorts of different things are happening. Go ahead, Dave.
And this and that would be correct, but and this is something else, first time cruisers, and I know, Mao, we've talked about this again. We've always said, if you're coming, and I know you're coming from the state of Ohio, which port are you going out of?
Baltimore.
See, you're going to be flying. So for me, again,
No, we're driving.
Are you guys flying in the day before or a couple of days in before?
No, we're driving in that morning.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say.
How far are you from Ohio to Baltimore?
5.5 hours.
Can I make a suggestion?
I would suggest
the day
you
before.
I was going to say that was something you might want to think about, Jen, and try to get there the night before so you can get a good night's sleep, because that embarkation day is going to be a long.
Well, not only because it's a long embarkation day for you, but you're a first-time cruiser. You don't know, and God forbid, right? You don't know if you're going to get a flat tire. You don't know if you're going to have excessive traffic. Anything can happen on the road in those 5 hours. Anything can happen. I always suggest if it's by all means possible that you can get there the night before, then I would suggest.
There comes Dippity-Doo Doug coming in.
Hi, Doug. Welcome in.
Okay, I'll definitely present that to my family for us to discuss.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I know that was something that me and you have talked about. We've mentioned that a lot, and I know you mentioned about it, that if you're coming from a different state and you're flying in, and Jill has said it even on the cruise lines before, it's always to get a better day, to get day there 2 or 3.
Right. I usually, when I go, because I live in Tampa, and from Tampa to Miami is about a 3.5 hour drive. And I do it on the same day. Don't get me wrong, because I do it on the same day. But I leave my house at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that I have enough time by noon to get there. And I usually get there between 10, 11. And I sometimes, depending on how I see traffic, I could stop and get me some breakfast and just keep going. But you never know. And I have encountered, especially when you're going to Port Canaveral here, which is about 2 hours from my house, I have encountered like an hour backed up traffic to get to the to get to the cruise port. So,
hey, Jen, somebody's throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, no, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
That's our good old Zippity-Doo Dog for you. Now, see, because here's the thing. I'm only about an hour. I'm about, 40 miles. I'm about, an hour from Jacksonville, from where I live. But even me, we drove in the night before, because even where we stayed, which I think we stayed near the airport, we still had another 30 minutes to drive to get to where we would park for the port parking. But we even with that, I even went, because if anybody that's been in Jacksonville, 95 and the whole downtown Jacksonville can be as nutty as a fruit cake.
Yeah. I know right now, because of Icon of the Seas, I know Miami right now, I think Royal Caribbean, I read it this week, Royal Caribbean is actually giving transfers to people. So they're actually paying for people to transfer, because there's so much crazy backed up traffic to get into the port that now they're actually trying to minimize it by bringing these shuttle buses and bringing as many people in shuttle buses to the port of Miami. So hello, Miss Tracy, welcome in.
I was going to say hi, Tracy, the other cruise nut. So
Hello, welcome in.
Even she said You know,
Yeah.
even she said, and they're 5, and they go from Galveston. So,
Okay.
so that's something you might want to think about, Jen. That's why I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
I
about what
will
part.
present it to the family. Yep.
Yeah. You know, it's not that something will happen, but at least, you know, because you don't want to be overly stressed. You're like, oh my God, look at the time and I got to get on that ship. And we still have because after I think after 2:00, the port stops, you know, they close the doors on the port and you can't come in. Even if you see the ship, the port will not let you in. And then you will have to stay behind.
Okie dokie.
And you'll be the one from the deck waving the flag going, bye bye, Aji, bye bye, Aji. We don't want that to happen to you, Jen.
No,
So I have a
especially on the first cruise.
So I have a question for the Tinkerbell with the Molly's cruise. Now, what about the time zones? Because with me being in the Eastern time zone, because I know that Bermuda is like an hour ahead of us. So for Molly to make sure that she gets to her excursions and everything. So how would she and her family prepare their phones?
Well, you're always on ship time.
Like,
not ship time.
Is it?
Yeah, it
like
could be Bermuda could be an hour ahead, but Molly is always going to stay on ship time.
Okay.
So if she leaves, let's say out of Baltimore, and it is 7 a.m. Baltimore time, and Bermuda's 8 a.m., she's always going to stay with that 8 a.m. Now, ship time, you got to take because ship time does change, and if the time frame changes, then the night before she gets to Bermuda, Royal Caribbean will leave Molly in her bed a little card that says time change.
Okay.
So that way she can know whether it's moving forward or moving backwards. And then she can adjust her time to the ship time.
Okay.
And then all of her excursions going to be going through ship time.
Okay.
So yeah. So I always keep my phone in, I never do my phone automatic. I always keep it on Eastern Standard Time. And then if the ship time changes, then I automatically change it myself. And I always keep it set, because if you have a phone, like an iPhone or an iWatch on automatic, and you get off that ship, it's going to automatically sync to your whatever time where you are at.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it, even because the 2 ports. That's why I didn't even think about it, because now that you mention it, I that did happen to my phone when I did get off the 2 ports, and I'm like,
yeah.
And then
then
so that would explain it then.
Yeah, if your phone, let's say your iWatch changes, and Molly says, "Oh, I still have time," and next thing you know, that ship is leaving. You didn't have as much time, so I always set it, Molly. I always take it out of automatic whenever you go on that ship. Just maybe put a little note or an alarm on your phone to only set it maybe for that cruise. Take it off of automatic. Just leave it on your Eastern Standard or whatever you're at on ship time. And only if the ship tells you to change it, then change it on your phone and leave it set, because that's how you'll know you're on the right time.
This is also confusing. I kind of wish we were just going to Disney World.
You'll be fine, Jen. You'll be fine.
But it's okay. It'll be fun. You know, none of us have been on a cruise, so it'll be nice to say we've been on a cruise. But my heart will wish we were still.
When you get on there, you're gonna forget we all exist, and you're just all gonna be having fun and
such
fun.
a great time. All of this is going to be like back in the, you're not even going to think about it, because you're going to have such a great time. Just make sure you look.
Here's a good tip. Here's a good tip from Tracy. This is a good tip. If you don't really want to mess with your phone and all that.
Old school digital watch.
Yep.
Okay.
That actually is a good. I actually like that tip.
Hello, Harlan. Welcome in.
Hello, AJ. Hello.
All right,
But
guys.
yeah,
I'm gonna head out.
enjoy the ship, enjoy the shows with your family. You know, it's there's so much to do on a ship. It's just great. And
Yes, just avoid the 10 o'clock shows.
once you get the hang of it, you're like, oh, I could do this all day.
Not, hey Molly, I avoid the 10 o'clock adult shows unless you want to end up like the shenanigans on Friday nights, and you know where that goes.
Oh, we love shenanigans. Yes, put the kids
Oh
to
well,
bed
then
and bring on the shenanigans.
you might actually enjoy the adult shows on Friday nights.
That's why Grandma and Grandpa are coming too. They're watching the kids, so Mom and Dad can
Oh well,
go.
there you go. Enjoy the I will say this
shows.
because they do have. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it because one, the shows are awesome.
Mhm.
The only thing that I was sad is that they did this show but the weather was so bad they couldn't do. We actually had the show on a Carnival Elation where they would do acrobatics and all that. They couldn't do the acrobatics because the ship was, because of that, having to put the stabilizer on and all that.
And Samara has a good point, Molly. You could always leave your baby. Well, he's 14 at the teens club. Just drop him off at the teens club.
Oh,
let him be. He'll have a great time playing Nintendo, PlayStation, whatever they do, because they do have teen clubs on board.
Hey, Harlan.
And they do all sorts of stuff with the teens. They do have comedy shows, whether are PG or R-rated comedy shows. Just enjoy, and Bermuda is beautiful. If you've never been to Bermuda, you're going to love it. Yeah. Those waters are like waters that you've never seen in the United States. And you're just going to say, oh my God, like, what was I waiting all my life to see all of this?
I am excited for that.
Like I said, see, Tinkerbell hasn't been around when I told you guys my story about I'm not even sure if you've been around when I've told my story about the adult things. Let's just say it went to the dogs when I had to birth because an adult competition.
Okay,
that's about as far as we're going because I don't want Pete to end up with something.
Oh my God!
I think that's the other channel for a shenanigans night.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what other questions you have, Miss Molly?
Let me see what else. I think those were all the main questions I had. Is there anything you think that I'm missing?
No, not really. I will say, since you're going to Bermuda, and that's one of my favorite ports to visit. If you, I don't know if you're doing an excursion, but if you're not, one of the best beaches there is Horseshoe Bay Beach.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that Queen Elizabeth actually has a home there in Bermuda. And all of the houses in Bermuda, for a lot of people that don't know this, they don't just allow just anybody to come into Bermuda and buy homes. Bermuda is very expensive. Their homes go from $500 to millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And when you see these homes, Molly, you're like, what? But they don't pay no water. They don't have a water bill. Their roof are made differently. So when it rains, it collects all the water and it goes through this thing that they have inside their homes. And it purifies the water that you drink and take showers. It's very interesting the way that Bermuda is. Yes, it's very expensive. So always take a little bit of extra cash because the sodas and food and stuff like that is going to be expensive. They only have one KFC. They used to have a McDonald's, but they no longer have McDonald's because it's too expensive for people. KFC, it's not like over here in the United States where you can just say, hey, I want a number 20 that comes with 8 pieces of chicken and 2 sides and a Coke. No, the 8 pieces of chicken will be like about $60, just the chicken alone. And everything else is separate. But just enjoy it. There's so many beautiful places in Bermuda. The beaches are amazing. Horseshoe Bay Beach is one of those beaches that have.
Don said this too.
So if you're looking to do the pink sand beach, that'll be Horseshoe Bay Beach. I have a cool crystal cave and aquariums. Oh, they said they have. Yeah, they have. So it's like really nice. And the ocean is so beautiful and blue. It's super clean. You're not going to see any garbage anywhere in Bermuda that you go. The people are super friendly. It's like I could tell you about Bermuda all day. I just had a great time. And if you go to the downtown area, they have kind of like a church, and they're dressed up like back in the times because Queen Elizabeth went to that church. They actually have the Queen Street where you can actually buy the perfume that she wore. So it has a lot of really good history in that area. So it's very, very nice.
Yeah. The only thing you got to watch out for is when you start seeing ships that have mysteriously vanished and all the aliens. You just got to be careful of the triangle.
Oh, no, nothing's going to happen at the triangle.
You're good. You're all good.
I think there's some people that wish I would get lost in the triangle, but
No,
I have a feeling I'm going to be all right.
We wouldn't let that happen to you, Jen. We wouldn't let that happen to you.
I have a feeling I'm going to be all right.
You are going to be okay.
Watch out for the crabs too.
That's zippity doo Doug for you. And of course, welcome in, Harlan. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, welcome in everybody from. Oh my God, there's a lot of people from Traveling with Tinkerbell here tonight.
Yeah, there's
awesome.
Actually between the two channels, we've been up a little over 20 viewers between your Facebook, your travel, and it's been a good thing. I was hoping Debbie.
I want to piggyback again off of that about Bermuda, particularly. If you we're going to be in port for 2 days,
right?
So, what would you suggest would be do not miss? I know you said Horseshoe Bay Beach. What would be don't miss this in Bermuda?
Well, Bermuda, keep in mind, Bermuda is, I think, I'm going to go by my brain here. Bermuda is 42 miles, either wide or long. I think it's 42 by 46, something like that. So you can get lost in Bermuda. So if you're going to stay 2 days, this is the way that I did it. In the port, you can either rent Twizzies, which is a little itty bitty car that if you're going 2 people, you could fit one person driving, one in the back, or you can get a mini Hummer, kind of looking like a little golf cart kind of looking Hummer, or a little Jeep that you can fit 3 and 4 people. You can rent that. You can go online and you can order it ahead of time, so you have it. And if you're ordering it, they'll have it at the port for you. And then you really don't have to spend all that money in excursions, because you don't have a ship that is leaving you. You know what I'm saying? Because the ship will be docked there for 2 days. So you can leave early in the morning and pretty much see the whole entire Bermuda in 1 day, because you can hop from place to place in different areas. They do have the smallest bridge there, which is really cool to see because it's very small. They have all sorts. They have a lot of different beaches, but Horseshoe Bay Beach is one of the most famous ones that they have. The Hamilton area is really nice and fun to see. So if you were to rent a little car, you get a map, and then you can kind of go through the different areas and do your own excursion and not having to worry that your ship is going to leave you.
Well, John suggested Hamilton. He then also suggest the Frog and Onion Pub.
Yep. The
Harlan suggested going to the fort. And of course, then he put in, go if you want, you got the Botanical Garden Museum and the aquarium all in the same spot.
Okay.
The way that you can do it, I'll just tell you the way that I do my stuff. I usually get a map of the place, and then I go online and I kind of pinpoint the places that I want to see. And then that way you can kind of see, okay, if we start here, we can go this, this, and this. But even if you don't do everything in 1 day, you still have the next day to do the other half. But at least, you kind of go with the flow, because you're probably going to end up wanting to maybe taste some of the Bahamian food, and check out the place, maybe go to the beach for a little bit and enjoy that with your family. So, just take your time and truly take it all in and enjoy it. Don't be stressed. Whatever you couldn't see, but at least, you try to do as much as you can with your family.
Okay. I'm taking notes on all of this. So thank you, everyone. Even in the chat, you've given some good advice in the chat too. So thank you very much. This is
we just
personal cruise planning show. So thank you.
And here's the thing. It's about making sure your vacation. I always love it when you come back. I look forward to you hearing how your trip went and how magical it's been. I mean, and I know that's the thing. Tinkerbell's been doing this for a while, but I can guarantee you our philosophy is the same. We want the best for our clients, and we want you. I mean, I know you're not our client, but still, anybody that tells me they're going on their first cruise, I want it to be the best, because if anything, I will always tell them this. I said, and I don't know what your philosophy is on it, but when the one client that I had did that book Carnival cruise, I told them, said, look, and it was their first time on Carnival. I said, we want to make sure that your experience is thing because it can make or break on whether you want to do future cruises.
Exactly.
And you don't want to be overwhelmed, you know. And again, that's why, I mean, and I'm sure that's why you probably tell them the same thing I do. If you have any issues at any time, call me. And I don't know about you, Tinkerbell, but I have told that to my clients. I said, if you got questions, call me at 2 a.m. I don't
Definitely.
care. I'll
I
answer the
always
phone.
tell that to everybody. You know, my phone number is out there for anybody to call at any time. And the reason why I do what I do and I love it so much is because I wish that when I went on my first cruise, I had somebody to tell me exactly how it was going to all planned out. And, you know, sometimes when you go into these things that you don't know, you're like really like a little bit lost. But it's always nice when you have a lot of people that have done it, that can help you around and at least give you some pointer. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, you know, all of that maybe possibly, but at least you have a mental kind of like, okay, this is what I'm facing. But just like I always say, be prepared for embarkation day. The saddest day of the cruise is your last day, unfortunately, because on your last day, you're like, oh my God, why didn't you're going to be saying this during your cruise? You're going to tell your husband and you're going to look at him like, how come we didn't do this before?
Right. Then you tell your friends to book a cruise, and then you hide in their suitcases and go right back on board.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a
no,
lot.
I mean that, and I agree because I wish I had somebody. You know, I wish I had somebody that would have actually been able to give me all this information because, you know, because at the same time it was pretty much just me moving around and out and about. My parents ended up sick. Not seasick, but mom ended up sick because of other reasons. Right. So it kind of ruined her and dad, and then dad ended up sick, and I'm like,
right.
You know, they stayed in the room and rested while I'm out and about. But yeah. I wish I had this knowledge that I have now back then because I could have planned my time better.
Right.
Of course, the weather didn't help anyway.
And I always suggest, like, for every travel agent, if you're in the industry of travel and you're in a travel advisor that you're helping another family out, try to do as much travel yourself as you can. So when you're helping out these customers and you have all the questions and you can actually tell the customer exactly what is it that they're going to expect and the different ports of calls that you can say, well, I was there, you know, and you can kind of, because you can really tell when somebody really was there and when somebody is either reading it from someplace just to let you know, information. So that's one of the reasons why I travel so much, is because not only I want to learn for myself, but I also want to be able to provide for my clients a better satisfaction,
better knowledge
and knowledge for that customer. And I could say, hey, you don't got to do all of these excursions because, like, you're going to Bermuda, you could just rent a little car and you could just go out and why pay all that money to a cruise line where you can just do it on your own and save some money?
Yep.
You know?
Exactly. Okay.
That's why I'm
stuff to think about.
But I will say, Miss Molly, if you do go to Bermuda, right at the dock, there is a little arch. There is a little arch there.
Okay.
And when you cross that arch, make sure that you're with the love of your life crossing that arch. And as you do, make sure that you say a wish, because that's part of wish, and it's right there at the port. And they said that if you both say a wish while you're crossing it together, holding hands, then you guys will have a prosperous longevity of together. So I didn't get to do it. I went to Bermuda before I got married, so I didn't get to do it. But I did meet a lady that was there with her husband, and they were celebrating their 50th birthday. And they went for their honeymoon. And she says, I crossed this arch with my husband 50 years ago, and now we're back. So that was really cool to hear. And nice. Okay, that's really nice.
Well, that's interesting to know, Tinkerbell, because now you give me an interesting thought for me and my girlfriend. So,
well, there you go.
Thank you for that.
Cross that. Go cross it. Let's see. Harlan says if you don't have anything you on your own and you can get back to the ship late on sail away day, they will leave you. If you don't have anything on your own, you get back on the ship late on sail day. Well, yeah, but on sail day, she's gonna be back on the ship early because she has all 2 days.
Mhm. Yeah, because I won't have to worry about that the first day because they're not going anywhere. I won't miss.
Exactly.
I won't miss
Well, the
ship.
first day you can go about your way and
Yeah, first day, you know, it's staying there.
and they
Mhm.
don't close the gate. Like if you come in late, they don't close the gate. One of the funny part that you're gonna see when you're coming in late is you're gonna see a lot of the crew members outside. There's an area where they have free Wi-Fi, and if you see a whole lot of people, it's because those are the crew members logged into the Wi-Fi talking to everybody out there.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
speaking of our other guest, he's able
Hello.
to join us. Mama D.
Hello, I'm sorry I'm so late.
It's okay.
How did Preston do, Mama D?
15 to 8.
Ooh,
They won?
They won 15 to 8. Yep.
Nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, this is the other one that's wanting to always that's trying to get on a cruise. So
I'm
we got to
trying.
get some.
Oh, you
We
gotta
gotta-
get Mama D on a cruise.
I don't think I could do it this year, maybe next year or the year after. I don't it all
We
depends.
just need to get somebody to go on a cruise, and we can pack you in a suitcase, Debbie, and they can take you along in a suit.
That's what it is. Yes, that's what I need. Packed into this.
I know. I'm gonna pay for it when August comes. I already know.
Yes.
You might be running out of Baltimore before this is through.
I'm keeping my list, Dave. I'm keeping my
I will.
list.
I will find that list. Trust me.
Oh,
I'm good.
my.
I'm a good snooper.
This phone, this will be tight towards me. You will not get my list.
Anyway, so I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't know. Tinkerbell has already given you a lot of good information, and that's, you know.
Oh yeah, I feel like I have so much now that I need to go and do my homework and research and the excursions and what the ship offers and what we'll do on our own.
Definitely.
There's so much for me to think about now.
I'm so
The
happy
way-
for you, Jen. I am so
Yeah.
happy for you.
Yeah, and
The
here's the other thing I would go to their website, take a look at the ship that you got, look at their deck plans so you know exactly. Actually, I mean, would you agree on this, Tinkerbell? You can go to their website, you can find that ship, and you can look at their deck plans, so you kind of get an idea of where your room would be. And
Definitely. Yeah, you can find the deck plan and you can know exactly where your room is and how to get there. But one thing, Molly, that I will suggest is go through their shore excursions. And this is something that I do personally on my own because I want to see where can I save some money. So I go through the shore excursions, I read through them, especially the ones that interest you.
Okay.
You read it, you open it, it's okay. It's going to take me to, let's say it's going to take me to Horseshoe Bay Beach. We're going to go then to the small bridge or the cemetery or Elizabeth Castle, whatever it is. And you read through all of that. And it's going to cost, let's say, $150 a person, right? So you have
question for you, Molly. Arlen wants to know which cruise line you're taking.
It's Royal Caribbean.
So let's say you have 3 people at 150, you're looking at what, $450 right there, just for one excursion, just to put a number out there. Right. And then you're going to go ahead and say, okay, let me see. If I rent a little car, how much is that rental going to be? Maybe $100, just to put a number. And then you're going to say, okay, how far are these places? So you kind of like track that excursion in a map. And then you can probably do it on your own because you have so much time that you don't got to worry to get back. Bermuda is one of those places where you have too much time that you're going to have some downtime in Bermuda. So now if you were to do, let's say you go to Cozumel, right? And I wouldn't suggest that in Cozumel because Cozumel, you're only going to be there for like 6-7 hours. So it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference in time. But try, to do your homework a little bit and see what you want to see and maybe your family is into. And then from there, you figure out, okay, so this place is not too far from the ship, and maybe I could just take a taxi. You know what I'm saying? And save yourself a little bit of money versus paying Royal Caribbean or whomever for that excursion that you can easily do for way less than that. Because there's taxis that comes in and back and forth from the place. So it's not like if you're going to be stuck.
That's what I was
So
going to
much
ask.
to think about.
The kind of transportation you have. I mean, how safe is it? You know, if you do it on your own, to either take a
Bermuda is very safe. Bermuda is very, very safe. There's very little crime in Bermuda, even like very, very little. It's non-existent almost, and you can go online and check that out yourself. The place is like very, very nice. It's like I was saying, super clean, very friendly people. You know, you can ask anybody anything in Bermuda, and people will be there to help you out. But you know, and that's Bermuda, but not every port is the same. So that's where you got to kind of like pick and choose, you know, where. But if you were going like, so let's say Cozumel, or let's say the Bahamas or something like that, then yeah, I would definitely do a ship excursion, even though that those are places that you can kind of like walk around, but just make sure that you keep your family safe, because you're always in an environment that is not your home.
Yeah, I worry about that too.
Yeah, well, Harlan said it though too. Bermuda is part of the British Commonwealth, so you know, Bermuda-wise, you're pretty well safe there. So you should be okay there.
Okay. Good.
I'm just gonna see what's the crime rate in Bermuda. I bet you it's very low.
I want to know what the fish rate is.
The crime rate in Bermuda is 0.2 is the crime rate in Bermuda. So it's very, very low.
And make sure you try to fish down there, Molly.
I don't know about the fish part.
You mean to eat fish?
Yeah.
Or to go fishing?
No, eat the fish. Yeah.
No, Dave, no.
Don't you know she's not a fish person?
Thank you,
I'm
Mama
trying to
D.
convert her.
Nope.
Molly was
I'm
saying from the water.
Well,
I'm perfectly fine eating pizza the whole time. I'm not picky.
Oh, one thing you're gonna have a good time when you go to that main dining room for dinner. They have so many great options, and the buffet has so many great options as well. So you're gonna be very well fed.
Great.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you, when I did my cruise, I actually ate more in the buffet, and Elation was one of the first ones, and I can't remember. I think it's Guy Ferrari. I'll have to double check it. I can't remember who. It was one of the first ones that got.
Guy Fieri.
Yeah,
burger?
yeah. It was a good man. I couldn't. I ate so many burgers that it was probably gained 100 pounds just eating the burgers, let alone out of the buffet.
Big chicken. They got big chicken now on Celebration and Mardi Gras and the Jubilee now, along with the Guy Fieri.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I want to address some comments in the chat. I would like to tell Zippity Doo Doug, no, I am not going swimming with sharks. That is not an option.
But she does want to do grilled octopus, Doug. She does want to do the grilled octopus.
No, I'll do grilled octopus if Doug does goat cheese.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go with the goat cheese. Ain't no way I'm doing goat cheese.
I eat goat cheese and it's good.
It is good. It is good, but there's no way octopus is going in my mouth.
It's going to the goats.
No way.
Hey, I grew up with it, so.
Oh, Doug said he did eat goat cheese, so you got to eat the grilled octopus.
He did, but a little, tiny piece.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That wasn't real.
That wasn't. He didn't really eat it. He needs to have a good bite of it.
I will say this. I mean, you will. The one thing I will say this, and this is what I love about cruising. Even if you're a very picky eater, which I am a very picky eater, you will find things that you love. Because I know one thing that I loved about Carnival Elation, you had ribs, you had pork chop. I mean, you had chicken, you had different types of meats. I mean, the food was, and of course, like I said, my favorite thing. And if you talk to Cherie's husband, James, he's like me. We love our pizza 24/7. I mean, that's all there. We're getting a pizza fan 24/7 pizza fan club going. That's
Right. And also on the main dining room, they usually serve a special dinner for depending on the port you're in as well. And on the main dining room, you can have breakfast as well in the morning if you don't want to go to the Windjammer buffet in the morning. But they have all sorts. Like you're not gonna, when it comes to food, there's so much variety. And if there's something that you want specifically, just talk to your maitre d'. They'll make it happen for you. Mm-hmm. That's
See, even Harlan agrees with me. Carnival pizza was good. All right, we're growing this 24/7 pizza fan club. I love it.
Well, you keep in mind that now it's no longer 24/7. They close at 4 a.m.
Well, close enough for me. Yeah, that's when you get that's when you make sure you get extra pizza and put it in the refrigerator. Cold pizza for breakfast. Cold pizza for breakfast is just fine.
Fine with me.
Well, if you're traveling in the summer, just leave it out and it'll be nice and warm.
But the thing is, I don't want to look like a pizza if I keep eating pizza the whole time.
Yeah.
True.
No, but you'll have a great time. I no doubt that you'll have. Like I said, I'm actually looking forward to doing the Royal Caribbean next year.
Yeah. Well, we have to do another one of these when she comes back to see her experience on it. And
I will. I'll do a cruise recap.
Definitely,
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the godfather of the Disney community, Mr. Pete Devin is in the house. Hey, Pete.
Hello, Pete.
Evening from the highway. Congratulations to Preston's team.
Yeah, congrats. Sound like a great game.
15-8, right?
It was a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
It was, from what I got to follow it, because that's what, when Tinkerbell and Mike came in, that's what I was watching. I was watching the game, but I had to get ready for the show. So yeah, my biggest, and that's the thing about it is I really didn't do I think I did the whole, here's the thing about this, Tinkerbell. I think I did the dining room once through the whole weekend.
You don't miss the whole dining experience. Oh, no, he's hurt.
Well, prayers to him, Pete. Tell him I'm praying for him.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll rest up for his next game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but main dining room is really good because you got all sorts of stuff there. You got escargot. You can have, you got escargot, which I don't eat it. You sometimes get alligator, whatever. Frog legs.
Well, now you just lost 10 on that one. Here's my thing. It wasn't that I didn't like the dining room, but the food is when you get the plates, it just seems like it's small. Where I'm like, okay, when I get a plate of food, if it's the right food that I love, and like I said, I can be picky, I pile it on. I'll pile it on. I mean, and we all agree on one thing: when you're on a cruise, the weight thing don't matter. Okay, it's when you get back to land that you have to worry about going back to the gym to work it off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. This has given me so much information, and I really appreciate it. I'm really excited now to.
When are you going?
What's that, Debbie?
When are you going?
In July.
Oh, right before the meetup. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, we're going to be grilling you when you get there.
Yes, we'll be grilling. I will definitely be grilling her in August.
Yeah, we're going to have another show. Let's see her
unless she's got something in her hand chasing me because she's getting even for some things I've said.
I'll be chasing you with the Starbucks drink in my hand.
No. Well, yeah, in that case, I may be running.
I'll be helping her.
There we go. See? I have help.
Team Jen.
There you go.
Well, I think I'm going to run so I can help my son with
All
his
right.
homework.
All right. Have a good night.
So
All right.
I'm going to go, but again, I'm going to say thank you,
You're
Tinkerbell,
very
for your
welcome.
advice. Thank you, Dave, for
You're
having me.
welcome.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you to everyone in the chat who contributed and
I
gave
don't
some
think
good
I have
advice
anything to
also. I
worry
really
about, Doug.
appreciate it.
I don't think I have anything to worry
You have a
about,
good
Doug.
one, Miss Molly, and it was nice helping you out today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I promise we'll do a cruise recap when I get back.
Definitely.
Yeah, we will have to.
Okay.
We will. Of course, thank you for being here, Molly, and obviously thank you, Jen, for being here. And we got Mama D to pop in for a little while. We were hoping she could come on earlier, but I understand she was helping Pete and with the game and all that. So,
Yeah.
but
All right, then I'm going to run, and you guys take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
If Debbie and Tinkerbell, if you guys will hold on 1 second, we'll come back and get some final thoughts in a minute. But I have to do.
Whether it's luxury or fun in the sun, Dave's got the tips to make your cruise #1. Tune in, sit back, let's plan your stay on Cantrelle Country's Travel Way. It's Cantrelle Country's Travel Way, setting sail on adventure every day. From island south to ocean blue, we got your cruising covered through and through. Pack your bags and set your sights. We're cruising seas and booking flights from the ports to the waves where dreams come alive. Dave Cantrelle is here to guide your ride. It's Cantrelle Country's Travel Way, setting sail on adventure every day. From island stops to ocean blue, we've got your cruising covered through and through.
Hey. Katie did such a good job on that. I know I'm going to have to. I actually probably need to get her to update that a little bit now, though. But I'm going to tell you guys when traveling and cruising, honestly, here's my thing. As much as I love Disney, and I've told this people in the Disney community, as much as I love Disney not as much as the next person. But the thing is that if you truly love traveling, just explore everywhere. Because I can tell you, like I said, most of my niche is domestic travel and all that. I'm like Tinkerbell. I deal with all travels, though I do focus on cruising and, domestic travel because we got so many national parks. You got the Yellowstone National Park. You got Yosemite National Park. You got the Grand Canyon. You got, we got so many natural. You got the Smoky Mountains. But traveling, no matter where you're traveling or, where you're flying to, just have fun. It's about having that relaxation and just letting go of the stress, letting go of everything. What else can you say, Tinkerbell, on that?
Well, I agree with you on that perspective. You just gotta love what you love, and when you love what you love, you do it with a lot of love, I guess you can say that, and you try to help everybody out as much as you can. I enjoy what I do because I like to help out people and be able to provide, information to them as much as I can. And also sometimes you'll be surprised. You sometimes learn a lot from your customers as well. So it's one of those things that, you just got to keep an open mind, that you're helping, people out here, and that make sure you give the accurate information as much as possible. And if you don't know something, research it for them. And that way you can provide the right information, because you don't want to send somebody out there and provide the wrong information. And then something happens, then that'll be on you.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But what I'm thinking is that it seems to me that it's not like one size fits all. It seems like it's whatever works for you may be different for what works for someone else, and on the same cruise.
Right.
Yeah, it all comes down to what your likes are, what your interests are. And I mean,
Right.
like I said, most people wouldn't think about it, but I actually want to do a National Geographic where I go down to Antarctica. I actually want to be able to take a ride on most people would say I'm probably nuts, but I want to do a submergible bowl down there. I want to ride on a Zodiac and actually put foot on parts of the Antarctica where you can put feet on. I mean,
Right.
that would be that. I mean, you'd be talking about, let's see, how did Kate Winslet put it? Or no, how did what's his name? Well, that old line, I'm king of the world. Except I'll be on the bottom of the planet. That instead of the North Pole, I'll be in Antarctica.
Yeah. So it's like everything. You gotta keep you gotta keep in mind everything, and like I always say, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Cruising is a lot of fun. Just also, not every ship is built for everybody, and a lot of people don't know that. They say, "Oh, just put me on whatever cruise," but you got to really know the client to know exactly what cruise fits best for them. And and then if that cruise doesn't fit best for them because they're looking for a budget cruise, then you got to figure out what is the best budget cruise for them so that they can enjoy, because that's also that's also going to be on the way that that customer is going to come back and do another cruise with you, because if their experience that's what it's going to reflect on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, and that is so true, because, like I said, and I have to reach out. That reminds me, I have to reach out to the client and see how they're doing, because I know they had a lot. I know their mother just passed away, so it was like,
Oh, wow.
I need to reach out to that. And yeah, and it is about, traveling is about having fun. And here's the thing about it. What people understand this is, when you're a TA and you see your clients having fun, it puts smiles on us, because that means we've done our job.
That is correct. I do agree with you on that one. Always keep in mind that at the end of the day, no matter whether you're a travel agent or a friend helping another person out, that this is that person's vacation that you're helping out with, and that you want to provide always as much information as you can, or research with that person. Hey, this is the stuff that you can do and things like that, because it's like especially if you're new to cruising. If you're new to cruising, it could be a little bit hectic at the beginning. But even with all that hecticness, you will enjoy it to the fullest, that you're going to want to come back. And once you start getting the groove on it, then you're like, you'll be like, oh, now I can cruise any day, any week, and I'm good to go.
Exactly. But, and like I said, it's traveling anywhere and everywhere you can have. I mean, you look at, I've actually, right now, it's like, when I do get clients, I send them over to my Discord, because right now I'm downloading anywhere and everywhere. I've already had people respond that actually recognize some of the photos that I do. I grew up in Michigan. One of my favorite museums is the Henry Ford in Greenfield Village in Dearborn. But it is an amazing place because of what you learn in the history, and and then you got the village, because the one thing about, and here's the interesting fact about this, and you're talking about some interesting places. The Wright brothers bicycle shop that they had in Ohio is actually been moved to the Green Ford Henry Ford Museum. Their actual bicycle shop is actually in the village.
That's awesome.
Yeah, see, Joe. So you've been to the Henry Ford Greenfield Village then. So you were there when you were 16. Well, it hasn't changed. Still good.
Dave, I'm gonna have to let you go because I gotta go pick up my daughter.
No problem. We're getting
So,
ready to wrap up.
Thank you so much for having me here, guys.
Well, thank you.
So much, everybody in the chat.
Penny, do me a favor. I still want you guys, I still need to get you guys either. I need to come on to your show because I still want to hear more about the port of St. Martin, because that is actually the cruise that I really want to know more about St. Martin and St. Thomas, because those are the two ports that I'm probably going to go with for next April.
Okay, sounds good. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you guys for coming.
All
Have a
right.
good day.
So,
All righty.
anyways, guys, have a good night. And with that, I'm going to say, let the Cantrelle Country Travelway help you find your magical vacation. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Have a great night, everyone.